Hello, everybody. It's SLUSHIE, and welcome to another episode of Ranked. And this episode is actually requested by STARR Slurpee Maze. She wanted me to do a ranking of my own films. Now, me personally, I would have done this in general, but because it was requested, I will do it. So this one's for you, STARR. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm sort of going to give a review of the films, then I'll rank them at the very end. Because most people, I'm pretty sure most people have not seen these films, so I'll also include clips of each one after I start talking about them. We're going to start off with one that I made back in 2017 called Find Me. Thing is, it's shot wonderfully, executed horribly. It's beautiful to look at, but confusing to watch at the same time. Like, the scenery is just amazing. I love the way I shot it. I don't even remember how I shot it. I know I just shot it on my phone. I literally just grabbed my phone, recorded, and it came out looking amazing. A few of my films have actually been like that. One of them being Imaginary, which I actually just re-released the other day. So that was pretty cool, especially to go back and revisit that, which is pretty awesome. So you might hear about that one later in this video. But yeah, it's an intriguing idea. It's just I didn't know what to do with it. I kind of just made a film without any purpose, rhyme, or reason. It's just a film. It exists, but it shouldn't. Is basically what I'm trying to say, except for the beautiful visuals. Here's the next one, Insomnia. It's a very beautiful film with a very deep plot. It's another one of these films where you have to really watch everything that's going on. The plot isn't handed to you. Much like with Find Me, except this one's a little bit more clear, and you can sort of piece together an idea of what the hell's going on. So it's about this author who wrote this book, and the monster from the book is coming alive, and in the end we ultimately find out, in very vague details, that he is his own monster. Like, your inner demons is what you're supposed to be afraid of. You know, there's nothing outside of yourself that could be the scariest thing, because ultimately your inner demons, yourself, is what you should fear the most. Like, whenever you go dark, there really isn't nothing scarier than that. So that's what that whole concept was about. Which is why I really do cherish that film. It's not nothing spectacular, and it's also a movie about addiction, depression, tragedy, loss, all in one. So it's a very interesting film. It's not one of my, I wouldn't say it's the best thing I've ever done, but it is definitely one of my favorites for sure. Definitely better than Find Me by miles, for sure. Now, this next one is Imaginary. I just mentioned this one a little bit ago. It literally shakes you to the core emotionally. And then you ultimately realize that it starts off like emotional, depressing, sad, and then you ultimately realize it's not about being sad. It's about this person finding out that they are somebody. And still, 3 years later, it's one of my favorite films for sure, which is why I actually chose to re-release it, because I felt like I kind of just really wanted more people to see it. By re-releasing it, I figured that would be the case. So we'll see what happens with it. So far, the reaction for it has been amazing. It's been the reactions I expected to see, and I'm so glad it impacted people. That was my goal with the film initially, was to have people watch it and come away with something. You know, to make you. It's supposed to make you feel like you're not alone. That there is people out there who are going through the same stuff as you. This is why in the beginning it says based on many true stories, because it's a fact. So many people go through depression, anxiety, just unbelievable amount of stress in their daily lives. And this film is to show you that you're not alone, that there are people going through the same stuff as you, and to never give up, and to never lose hope, and to never stop loving and respecting yourself for who you are. And so it's probably, my honest to God, one of my most powerful movies. Like out of all my movies, this one tells the strongest story. And story wise, it's the best thing I've ever created. Visual wise, it's the best thing I've ever created. So technically, by those standards, it's my best film. Uh, and it doesn't have any action. It's literally just amazing visuals and a story being told on screen. It's a visual narrative. There is no like voices, audio, people talking. It's literally just this sad, depressing music, and then just this amazing story being put together before your own eyes. That is imaginary. You can tell I love it because I'm just gushing about it. Now we're moving on to another film called Meat Sleep. Now this is just a straight up disturbing, very quick, basic film based off the YouTube channel Meat Sleep, or Meat, as the channel name's been called. This was requested by DS7 Attacker that I make a fan film of Meat Sleep, I believe, like a while ago. And so I made it, and ultimately it's just about this guy, this killer, stalking this dude from outside his house. Eventually he makes his way inside the house, and it just goes downhill from there. And I initially planned to do a sequel, but I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like I might as well just leave it alone. It wasn't anything spectacular. I'm not going to gush about a film that I don't think really is spectacular. It's an okay film. I watch it like every. It's been a while since it's been out, so occasionally I might go back and see it just to remember it. It's not the worst thing I've ever done. It's not the best thing I've ever done. It's just okay. It's right there where it's just like average. I'm not the most proud of this film. It's not the most advanced, amazing work I've ever done. But I did enjoy making it for sure. It was a very interesting film to make. And I do love Meat Sleep. Meat Sleep's an awesome horror channel. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Now we're moving on to my first Purge fan film. The original Purge fan film I did was actually very creepy and suspenseful at the same time. It used suspense rather than jump scares and stuff to creep you out. The character stalking in the shadows, just creepy shots of him walking around. In general, that's what that film was. It was all about suspense and build up rather than anything actually scary being shown. In fact, there's no real violence in the film, which is bizarre because it's a Purge fan film. You think there'd be killing, but the story's told in the beginning. You have the character come in, you sort of get a little fear, and then it ends. And then we're going to talk about the second one in the same aspect because it pretty much takes place sort of in the same like universe. So we're just going to include this all in one big chunk. The Purge 2, however, does include violence, and it's a lot more violent than the original for sure, even though there is no blood. Essentially, the guy from the first one is in the second one, and the killer from the first one that also killed his family is back, trying to kill him now. And wow, what can I say? I love the second one more than the first one. It's less creepy, that's guaranteed. But there are some really cool suspenseful shots in that film, and I absolutely love the camera work. I sound like such a narcissist because these are my films, but the camera work that I had was really good, I think. That really led to the atmospheric build-up of that film. And I played every character. What can I say? It's tough to do sometimes. It's really tough to do. Like I think I played, let's see, I played the guy with the hoodie. I play myself, the James character, I believe his name is, and then the killer, the clown face killer. So that's 3 characters. Then I got to do the camera work, and I write it. I do everything. I edit it. I literally do everything film oriented. Anytime you see a film on my channel, I've done everything. Unless I have voice actors like Star Maze, SMG, Galaxy Cat. Thank you to all those people. Appreciate you guys. Now the Creep is an original, like a more recent film that I've done, and it's very basic. It was shot in one night. I did write it a little bit. I didn't make out the super, lengthy script because it's a very basic film. I felt like that would have been pointless. I kind of wrote out, it was almost an outline really. I was like stair shot, room shot, behind the couch shot, him, my character watching the TV, and then the door creaks open, stuff like that. I didn't really write out a script like this happens, this happens, this happens. It was just basically just a small sentence that set up a scene, and that was it. I just went based off of that. And I thought it was very well done, suspenseful. I love suspense over jump scares. So I rely more so on like creepy, like stalking stuff rather than, jump scares, pop-ups, stuff like that. So The Creep I thought was well done in that aspect. It's not my best film, no. Like I said, Imaginary still holds that title for sure. But like slasher wise, for a film shot in one day, edited in one day, it was filmed in like 20 minutes, like entirely, and edited in like 30. So, it was a very basic film. I didn't expect much of it, but it actually turned out to be better than what I would have expected in general. So, I do love The Creep. The STARR's Family fan film that I actually worked with on Arctic Conquest, thanks to him, by the way. If he hadn't helped me, that film wouldn't have got made. It wouldn't be on the channel. And it would have been a very big mistake on my part if I hadn't done that because the film turned out to be really good. It's like I said, it's not my best thing ever, but the assistance of Arctic in it was fantastic. Like I said, had he not been there, it wouldn't have got done. I was ready to give up on the project because I couldn't do it all myself. It got so hard to do everything. I would have had to play like three different characters, Leatherface, the hitchhiker, and the victim that you see getting killed in the very beginning. And that's a lot to do. That is a ton to do. Also doing the camera work, running around, placing the camera in places, doing stuff like that. But being the fact that he was helping me, I was allotted the ability for someone else to use the camera. So there was a little bit of camera movement going on, which I think gets you more into the film. Like there's a shot where it pans past the door while Leatherface is standing there holding the chainsaw, which I thought was amazing. And he's the one that shot that. So that was incredible. There's a few other shots without him. Actually, almost the entire film without him, it wouldn't have been possible. Exception of the very beginning, which I filmed all on myself, which was also a pretty cool scene. But his parts were incredible, and he also provided the use of, like I said, camera work, and he also played a character. Even though that character does get killed early on, and we never see or hear from him again, still a nice addition to the film because it added substance. You see somebody else, a new face, rather than, if I would have done another character, I would have had to put another hood over my head to make it look like a different character. And people don't just walk around with hoods over their head like that. That's weird. Okay. But I have to do it sometimes because I'm doing it all on my own. I have to. I literally just have to. Unless I just play one character, which I feel like that'd be very plain. I've done it before, but it's very plain, which is why I know how bad it is. The SLUSHIE Family, out of my 3 Texas Chainsaw fan films, it's obviously the number one. The other 2 are absolute crap. I don't recommend you watching them, exception of the very beginning of the first one, which Arctic is also in. And there's a long story with that one. Wow, that movie was just wild. Crazy story. Arctic actually got cut open there on the filming of that first one. Not intentionally. I didn't walk up to him, let me cut him open. But I think I scraped his arm with the chainsaw or something. It actually hurt him. So I still feel so sorry about that to this day. But I'm so happy that he helped me with the SLUSHIE Family. Because like I said, if that hadn't happened, it wouldn't have got made. I would have just tossed it away. Forget it. But it was a really fun experience. I loved it. And I got to use my new Leatherface mask. So it was awesome. An actual good Leatherface mask. Be Mine, a fun little Valentine's slasher film. Okay. This film, wow, it's a slasher film. It's basic. There's no plot to it. Okay, there's a killer. There's a guy. That's it. Okay, this killer is coming after this guy for no apparent reason. He just has this fascination to kill him. It's like Halloween in a way, where Michael Myers is after Laurie Strode because he simply ran into her. It's similar to this. This character is just under attack by this killer for no absolute reason. It's just this killer's being intrigued by this person, so now he's stalking and watching him, eventually coming in for the kill. And that's all this character has. There's no depth to the character whatsoever. There's no plot, really. You do hear him talking to the authorities a bit, to the cops, but that's about it. Very nice, amazing voice acting from our Slurpee Maze. I appreciate you, by the way. Every work you've ever done with me, I appreciate you beyond words. Her work on Unfriended Blocked Forever was absolutely phenomenal. I appreciate her on that too, by the way. You're always doing amazing work. And it also has a few Psycho vibes. There's a scene at the door when the killer walks up and knocks on the door with his knife in the hand. It looks so much like a shot that you'd see in Psycho, which was the idea. I wanted, to have a few homages to, past films, and I even used Tainted Love, 80s song. You can't go wrong with 80s music in a slasher film, because that's pretty much the prime time of slasher films. And then of course, like I said, the scene at the door with the Psycho homage, just a shadow banging on the door. I felt like honestly that was the best shot of the entire movie. I mean, you don't see what the killer looks like. You just see that there's a figure at the door holding a knife, and that enough is to set the scene. Like, holy crap. Wow. We're going to talk about Frostbite. Frostbite is just this fast, easy, fun home invasion movie about this guy who essentially is very broke and he's looking for money, and he's employed to rob this guy's house who happens to be blind. But soon after he gets there, he finds out he's not blind. So it's a little bit predicament. So by the time he gets there, he's like, I don't really want to do this. I don't feel right about this. It's too late. So he ends up doing it. You know, we know what happens after that if you've seen the film, but basically it goes south. That's all I'm going to say. But a pretty fun film. Basic again, but fun. It's another one of those films that I filmed in like 20 minutes. So for being 20 minutes, I thought it was pretty well done. Interesting cinematography too. Whispers from Below. Wow. Now this is a film I collaborated with John Gilman on. He actually wrote the original script. Now the film itself is a script that I wrote myself, but it's based off of an original idea from John Gilman, and he helped me. Like, he gave me criticism throughout and constructive and ideas and stuff to help me through it. And it actually took me about a year and a half to finally release. Just a lot of work went into that, script wise, story wise, and a lot of planning in general. Most of the time was planning, figuring out what the absolute hell I was going to do with it. Because I told him a year ago, like back in like, I think it was actually in 2017 when I first talked to him. He was like, um, would you like to write one of my stories? I don't know how he got a hold of me, but he was like, would you like to work with me and make a story, make one of my stories into a short YouTube film? I was like, hell yeah, I'd be happy to, because I've never actually filmed the making of someone else's story. It's always my own. And granted, like I said, this was my own. I did end up writing my own, but it's also very much his story, which is why I also gave him credit, because it's still his. I just changed a few details from his original plot because I didn't have you know, the means to do everything that was in his original plot. Like, I'd have needed a budget and quite a few actors to do what was in the original script, but so I had to simplify his original script to make it basic enough that I could film it myself without any help. And it worked out incredibly well. It's one of my best films. Besides Imaginary, it's definitely my best film. My best horror film for sure. My number one horror film of all time for sure. Um, but yeah, there's a great theme, great story, great mood. You know, all across the board. Well, you know, yeah, just all across the board. Terrific film that I'm incredibly proud of. But yeah, so those are all those ones. Now I'm going to talk about the ones that I very much dislike. Okay, so I'm just going to say it across the right now. All the Halloween films I made, all the way up until Halloween Returns, are complete garbage. So basically all of them, literally every single one except for Halloween Returns. So I've made one good Halloween film. The others, complete trash. I might actually recut them to make them better if I can, like adding music and stuff, because the original ones don't have music. It's literally just Michael Myers walking around doing stuff, and there was no music. It was just silence because I didn't have an editing software at the time, so it's just very basic and plain and just boring as hell. So I might go back and recut that and re-upload it. So you might see that coming soon. But as of right now, they're just absolute abominations. Like 1 through 8, trash. Okay, just absolutely trash. The final chapter that I made wasn't that bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was okay. There's a few really good scenes in that, which you might see in the recut that I'll do. But Halloween Returns, I actually really do love that one. That was really good, and I put a lot of time into that. The acting by me, like as a character itself, was horrible, but everything else was fantastic. I love that film, and I'm actually going to be filming the sequel, The Shape, coming this Halloween, so be on the lookout for that. So anyways, let's rank these films finally, after 20 minutes of talking. Okay, so bottom of the line for me is going to be all those Halloween films. So 1 through 8, they're on that list. Complete abominations, trash. I wouldn't recommend you watching them until I do the recut. So even then, it might not be good. I'm just going to try to make them better. You get what I'm saying? We'll see if that can happen, because they are pretty goddamn bad. But we'll see if that we can make them better. Get what I'm saying? But then after that would come Find Me, because that film literally has no purpose to exist whatsoever. It's just very beautiful to look at. That's the only good thing about it. It's very beautiful to look at, and it has an intriguing idea that just doesn't go anywhere. That's the problem with it. So that's why that's one of my least favorites. Then we're going to move on to Meat Sleep. We're going to move on to Meat Sleep. Meat Sleep wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just average. But it's still somewhat enjoyable in a certain aspect. It's not nothing I'd brag about. I wouldn't be like, hey, here's Meat Sleep. It's freaking amazing. Watch it. Back then, I was kind of proud of it because I just wasn't. I didn't really know what a good film was. I was just making these films to make them. I didn't really actually have any care about them really. But now that I sort of try to put time and effort into these films, I realize how drab that film is. It's just there. It's just like Find Me. It really has no true purpose to exist, except for the fact that, somebody requested a Meat Sleep film, and I was like, hey, I'll try it. And then I did it, and it's there. It's okay. Would I recommend everybody go watch it? Probably not. If you want to watch it, go ahead. It's in my horror films playlist, but it's not one that I'd like be go watch it now. My next film, this is when they pretty much are just good. Frostbite. Frostbite was a very fun film to make. I really, really, really do love it. It's so basic. Like I said, I shot it in less than an hour, and it was really fun to make. Interesting cinematography. The story itself, very basic but cool. And I think most people liked it. So I'm happy with it. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. It's not something that I even took seriously. It was just a quick film. Uh, so yeah, that's why it's there. The next one is Be Mine, a very cool Valentine slasher film. It's very basic, as I said earlier. Very basic. Has those 80 vibes with the music and stuff and the psycho vibes, and I love it for that. So in general, just a very cool film. I really don't have much negative to say about this. I wish I would have put a little bit more effort into it. But it came out good. What can I say? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and I enjoy watching it on the playback sometimes, okay? I hate to sound like a narcissist, but yes, I do watch some of my stuff after I've already uploaded it, just because sometimes I just love to go back and watch it for entertainment's sake. The next one's going to be The Saw's Family. I really do love this film, and like I said, the assistance of Art to Conquest is insanely important. I don't know why my dog just, you could see her standing next to my pillow over there a second ago. She was just watching me. Yeah, The Saw's Family is fantastic. I love, in general, my portrayal of Leatherface. I thought was pretty cool. Wasn't anything to brag about, but it was cool, and it was just fun to make in general, and I loved it, and I'll cherish that film. I'm proud of it, and insanely proud of The Saw's Family. So I hope everybody else enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm sure Art to Conquest enjoyed it too. It's always fun to make films with people, because it allows me the opportunity to not just be like do everything. It allows me to sit back and sort of figure out the right things to do things. Like, where do I want this camera to be? Like, whenever he holds the camera, and I get to actually direct rather than direct myself. So it's nice. And anyways, moving on. Forget it. We're not going to mention that. Oh, forget it. Next, we're going to go with Insomnia, a terrific film, incredible story, a great visuals. I really do enjoy it. It's another one of those films I don't have anything negative to say about it. It has a purpose, a reason to exist. It tells a story, and it's very intriguing in that aspect. So, you know, I have to say, I do enjoy this. I do enjoy Insomnia. And like I said, the links are all down below if you want to see the original films. The next one's going to be The Purge and The Purge 2. I'm just going to branch them together. I do have to say that The Purge 2 I do love better, but the first one, they're pretty much really close together. But the second one, I feel like is just better. I don't know why. I'm sure some people will have different opinions. I'd love to hear how you guys rank them down below. So definitely leave me your guys' ranking. If you go watch them in the description and you want to let me know, please let me know which one you like better down below. And because it'd be very cool to find out if people have similar rankings to me. And don't be afraid to leave your actual opinions. I'm not going to get butthurt over it, I promise. But yeah, The Purge 2, I just love way more. The Purge 1's very cool, creepy, suspenseful, and stuff like that. But The Purge 2 just lays it out for you. You already understand what's going on with The Purge. You already know it's this thing. But the end is kind of trippy, which is why I love it. And this July, there might be a Purge 3. So it'll be very interesting. I don't know if I'll make it, but there might be. We'll see. If I can come up with a story that's good enough to put out, I'll make The Purge 3. Now we're going to get to The Creep. The Creep was just, like I said, this 20-minute film that I made. and edited in 30 minutes. So it's nothing really spectacular ultimately, but it turned out really good. And I have nothing, absolutely nothing negative to say about it. There is one scene where I wish I would have swapped the music. Like whenever he's coming down the stairs, there's a certain like jingle whenever he's standing behind the couch that sounds like a perfect theme that would be whenever he's coming down the stairs, but I should have realized that in editing and swapped the sounds out. But instead, because it kind of sounded like the Halloween theme whenever it plays, like it's like do 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 do, those simple piano keys. But it would have been so awesome when he comes down the stairs. But even with that, it's still really cool. It just would have been better, had that music been playing when he was coming down the stairs. But that's why I rank it there. Okay. Now we have Whispers from Below. This film, like, I'm insanely proud of this. Like I said, I did everything on my own with the assistance and, feedback of John Gilman, so I appreciate him as well. But yeah, I pretty much did everything on my own, and I love it. It came out amazing. I'm insanely proud of Whispers from Below, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well, which people seem to have. So I'm super happy about that. The response was really good. Now, lastly, is Imaginary, the most touching thing, the most amazing piece of film I've ever done. It's practically a piece of art. I sound like such a narcissist saying that, but it tells such an amazing story, and it has the most meaning compared to anything I've ever done in my entire career of making these little films. So, wow, there's nothing I could pick out of this that I disliked. Okay, there's nothing from this film that I disliked. It tells a story and it's very relatable. It so many people can connect to this film. There's gonna be some people who probably can't, but there's gonna be a vast majority of people who can relate to this film, and so that's why it's my number one film of all time for sure. And I implore you guys to go watch it. Please do. It'll definitely, if you've experienced anything like depression, anxiety, or stress in your life, which like I said most people have, you will enjoy it. You will. It's definitely my best film of all time. So that's how I rank my films. Hope you guys enjoyed the little review and rank of my own films. I feel like a goddamn narcissist. You're welcome, Star. But anyways, I actually have a few cool films coming. First, Scream coming this month actually, and I have an original idea I'm looking to try out. So hopefully that works. It'll be pretty cool and disturbing at the same time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit like if you did, subscribe if you have not already, hit that bell to get notified anytime I make a video or a stream. Keep up to date with the channel. There's always something crazy going on, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.